Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this very interesting session, Living Well with AI, presented by Vaughn Gray. Well, here we are, fresh from the Jamaica Diaspora Conference, where our General Manager, Mrs. Angela Patterson, engaged attendees on CCRP and on an upcoming pilot project. We will have a separate Zoom meeting to share this with you all. Now to the order of the day. I'm pleased to introduce to you writer and strategic communications consultant, Vaughn Gray, who will present this 1-hour interactive session, which covers practical AI applications across shopping, home and garden, writing, travel, and mental engagement. Mr. Gray's practical experience will warm your hearts. He is the caring son of his elderly mother, and he uses these applications to ensure she gets optimum attention. Be assured, members, no prior technical experience is needed for you to practice his suggestions. While he's making his presentation, please mute your devices. You may put your questions or comments in the chat. At the end of his presentation, he will answer them as well as engage with you directly. So over to you now, Mr. Vaughn Gray.
Thank you, Mrs. Lorichin. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm about to share my screen. Are we all seen? Wonderful. So as Mrs. Lorichin said, this Living Well with AI was inspired by my mother, Mrs. Silda Gray, who should be online. Hi, Mommy. And again, with using AI in my daily work for workflow and to make things easier, not to replace human intuition, that we're very clear about that. I came up with this presentation, and thank you to Angela Patterson and Mrs. Laurie Chin for being so kind to greenlight it and for me to share it with each of you. Just a few more notes about who I am. I've been in journalism for 23 years. I live in Canada for 15 years. I was a Caribbean correspondent for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And most recently, you might recognize me or my voice if a loon is on from the CCRP Fourth Living Legacy Awards, where I was the MC. So today, in our hour together, we will discuss what AI really is, the practical applications, and we'll be doing 5 demonstrations. There'll be some that are already being done for us for the interest of time, and then I'll be doing 5 live demonstrations so you can see how easy it is to use these AI application tools and also to see the different results that different tools will give for the same prompt. And a prompt is a question. Then we will have to discuss responsible and safe use, especially around privacy, verification, and accuracy. And then we'll have around 15 minutes at the end for Q&A. So what is AI? There are lots of things going around, and you might have heard them online yourselves, from television, from radio, from news broadcasts about what AI is. To be very clear and in basic terms, AI is not a computer skill, it's a conversation. It's you speaking with an artificial intelligence tool. And that's a term that is all-encompassing, but artificial intelligence really is any computer result that is given in a short period of time. So if you have an iPhone and you speak to Siri, or you have an Android and speak to Alexa, those are AI tools. Or back in the day, we used to have things like Ask Jeeves. We have now Google. Search tools are also AI tools. But AI now is a very broad term that really now is focused on the set of platforms such as ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot that can make life easier in some respects for each of us. So what AI in that conversation, you don't really need to you don't need to focus on typing speed. You can even all AI tools, you can speak to it. Many of them understand Jamaican accents. Not all of them do, and I have to stress that. You don't have to memorize any command or codes. Just speak plainly, and even if you're not coherent, it can decipher what you're trying to say. And also, just as you can ask a friend about their advice, that's what AI can be as well. It's a knowledgeable friend. And I'm using air quotes. We'll discuss that in the safety protocols. So when you ask AI, you have to be very specific. So you won't just say, tell me about plants or what's something healthy to eat. You have to be very specific. So instead, you ask, why are the leaves of my hibiscus turning yellow? Or how are these plants in my garden? How do I care for them in a Jamaican summer? Do I need to water this plant regularly? Things like that. The more specific you are, the better results that you get. And that's what AI is really, in the results that it populates, is that the more that you feed it questions, the more it gets to know who you are. And also it creates a cache of information from global sources so it can give better results over time. And the more and more that you use specific AI tools, even if you ask it the same question every day, you'll start seeing getting smarter. Also, you want to give it context. So I have a dinner party, give me a menu. It will give you something as simple as a 3-course meal, or it might give you a 15-course tasting menu with wine pairings. So you want to give it context. And the example that we're using here, I'm cooking for 6 people, one is diabetic, suggest a Sunday dinner menu. There is nothing too specific that you can ask it that will not give it that will not allow it to give you the proper results. Then you want to ask follow questions. If you didn't get the answer that you wanted, you don't have to say so. Tell it this is not a good result. This is not what I want. You can say make it simpler or give me cheaper options or start over or try again. The thing with AI, there's no wrong way to ask it. It never gets impatient. Some AI tools might be a little bit sassy in their responses, but you can ask as many times as you want until you get the result that you need. So where to begin? So you want to open one tool. Now, there are apps, but I believe in using the web browser version of these AI tools. For me, it just gives better results. I don't know why that is. And also for me, the interface is easier, the fonts are larger, and it's better to use. However, if you have Google App Store or Apple App Store, these are all free apps that you can download for each of the AI tools. And I'm focusing on 3 today. I'm focusing on Claude, ChatGPT, and Google Gemini. When you're engaging with AI, again, just type a question or tap the microphone and speak. A note about speaking, the more that you speak to it, the better it will understand you and your accent or your tone and your intonation. And also, the basic version of all of these apps are free. If you ever encounter an app asking for money, upon opening it, do not engage with that app. And that's why I have given you the links themselves, because oftentimes when you Google ChatGPT or Claude, the top results are imitation apps that are trying to capture your information or steal your credit card information. So if we use the direct web browser links that we have here. And also I've created a little one-pager that Angela and the CCRP team will email to everybody after the presentation. So today we'll be going through 5 scenes of daily life and how AI can assist us. We'll be looking at smarter shopping, home and garden, writing with confidence, and oh, what happened? Did my screen disappear? Oh, okay, mine kind of disappeared from me here. Sorry, 1 second. Um, I know what happened here. All right. So, well, at daily life, and thank you, and mental engagement. So, oh, I need to actually get this done properly. I don't know what's going on. Give me 1 second. Sorry, everyone. Here we are. We're back. All right. um, so the first thing is smarter shopping. And this again comes from about personal experience with trying to decipher which nutritional drink was best for my mother to consume. So we want to ask, compare and analyze these three brands of meal replacement beverages and determine which is the healthiest. So again, AI tools can read barcodes. They can decipher, and I actually turned the labels around purposely so you can see the result that it will actually give us once we go through the example here. You can also ask other questions like, what does hydrogenated oil mean for my health? Is a snack safe to eat without a peanut allergy? Again, be very specific. So I uploaded those three, that image with three brands in the photo, and this is the result that ChatGPT gave. Immediately, it said, quick ID left to right, looks like Ensure or Boost Style Shake. That's correct. This was the most surprising result. It actually correctly identified True Shake, which is a local brand, without actually knowing what the front of the logo of the box was. And the right, it didn't identify it, which is supplement, but it called a powder milk-based drink, likely reconstituted. Now, it gave us a picture verdict as well that the Ensure was the best overall for those three examples specifically, because it was the cleanest and most balanced. The middle carton was decent, but more processed, and the right was the highest sugar and the weakest option. And then it gave you this side-by-side snapshot here that broke down the amount of protein, sugar, the processing additives, and then gave it an overall rank. So then I'm going to now go into a real demonstration of using that same AI model. So I've opened ChatGPT here. Again, same image, compare and analyze these three brands of meal replacement beverages and determine which is the healthiest. Now let's see what it says as we watch it work. So as it is analyzing, here it is again. And this is an exact prompt I gave it weeks ago, and we can see it's now giving us something a little bit more detailed, right? So it's calling it True Juice Vanilla. Again, everything is not perfect, but it's True Shake, and the flavor is correct. And it's made by True Juice, so it's not wrong. It's not perfect, but it's not wrong. And now it identifies supplement vanilla correctly than the first time I tried this 4 weeks ago. Now, which is giving us calories, it's giving us protein, fat, it's broke down everything, and you can see that I've used all of my prompts for today already, ignore that, and the carbohydrates, sugars, and everything else. This is the best part, when it starts ranking your ingredient quality, right? So the Ensure has the lowest amount of sugar. It has balanced calories and protein. It includes 27 minerals and vitamins and has less reliance on added sugars than the others. Then the True Shake, similar calories. It breaks down because it has both dairy and soy proteins, 45 minerals. And this is nothing against the brand, but for the question I asked it, compared to the other two items, it said it's the lowest. However, it is saying for someone who's trying to gain weight, recovering from illness, or struggling to maintain calories, supplement can be useful. right? So again, we have to give, again, when I say about context, we have to give these AI tools context, right? So then we're going to go back to our next demonstration, home and garden. And I think this is for many of our CCRP members, whether you're literally at home, out and about. I know many of you might be driving and seeing a plant that you like, or you have a plant, you just can't remember the name of it. This is a great way to engage the tool as well. So you can photograph the plant, get an answer, you can diagnose problems or receive specific climate-aware care advice. And that's very important for us here in the Caribbean. So we can ask it, what is this plant on my veranda? My current leaves are dropping. What's wrong and what do I do? Or what vegetables grow well in Jamaica's June heat? Here is the example, the results that I received from ChatGPT about asking them about this plant right here. What is this plant on my veranda? And it says, looks very much like Cuban oregano, Spanish thyme, and Indian borage. It gives you the scientific name of the plant, the description, and it also tells you that this is edible. Now, one strong point, do not take everything that AI gives you as gospel. It can make mistakes, and they like to brand the mistakes as hallucinations. So you want to double check that it is indeed edible. But for this one, I know that it is. And it even gives you uses for the plant itself to season fish, put in soup, make tea for colds and coughs, and infuse oils for menthol-like aroma. And again, we have the note at the bottom that that AI can be confidently wrong, because sometimes you might wonder if you are the problem, but actually it's the AI tool. So we're going to go back now to ChatGPT again to ask the same question. I'm going to type. And it is, oh, and again, ChatGPT is acting up today. And this is what sometimes things happen, and I'm happy that we're doing it live, so it has nothing to do with you. So I'm just going to switch to my other account here. Maybe that was the issue as we're logging in. So when you're asking the questions, again, you can use it to give access to your camera on the phone, and then you can use it and snap it as you go along. So this is now, let's see what it says for, and here it is. So it gives us, again, more details, again, about all the different names that we use. And Angela knows that Spanish thyme. People might call it Indian borage, Mexican mint, broadleaf thyme, country borage. Again, it shows you how to identify it and how to quickly confirm that it is indeed the plant. We can crush it and then the scent, right? It also gives you, again, it's commonly grown throughout the Caribbean and often used in cooking and traditional home remedies. So the third part, which I think many people here will engage with AI in a repeated way, is writing with confidence. Now, as a writer myself, I was very hesitant and reticent to engage with AI for a very long time. And then you have to realize that there are some simple tasks that it can do that doesn't require a writing skill, but requires a mental acuity. And so we are just too busy sometimes to respond to every WhatsApp message, every email, every text. So AI can help you to write with confidence. So you can ask it to write a warm wedding day message for friends in Toronto. You can even ask to put in a floral background on letter-sized head. And right here, you'll see that's a real prompt that I gave AI for my friends Miranda and Colin, who got married 2.5 months ago. You can ask it to draft a polite letter to my struggle committee about the broken gate, or make this email sound more professional, but keep it friendly. And that's one of my favorite prompts to give AI. Sometimes you might not, especially if you're dealing with people from other cultures. Like what we like to say in Jamaica, if you want to comfort somebody, you say hush, but in North America, it means shut up. You want to ensure that you're not you're understanding nuance and cultural propriety. So here's a prompt that I gave Google Gemini. Original email, I just made this up. Dear Sister Brenda Lynn, thank you for your donation. The funds will be put to good use. God bless you. Regards, Pastor Brown. You ask it to make it more professional, but keep it the friendly tone. And here is what it said: Thank you very much for your generous donation. Your support is sincerely appreciated, and the funds will be put to good use in furthering the work of the ministry. May God richly bless you for your kindness and generosity. You can see how it really improved the quality of the email, and actually make it sound more thoughtful. Because it could be, the pastor is busy, he's rushing. And, but now, at least now he's sending a note that the member who is receiving it will feel good about the donation and not feel as if she's been slighted or that she's been brushed off. So here are live examples. We're going to ask three tools. We're going to ask Google Gemini, we're going to ask Claude, and we're going to ask Microsoft Copilot the same exact question. I'll give it the same prompt. Improve the quality of this email, make it more professional, but keep it friendly. And here is the example. Dear Strata President, the main gate has been broken for far too long. This is a serious issue. Not to mention security guard is always sleeping. What are you going to do about this? I do not feel safe. Fix the problem now. So we're going to ask Google Gemini and see what Gemini tells us to do. And here it is. I hope you're having a good week. I'm writing to bring two urgent security matters to your attention. Unfortunately, the main gate has been broken for an extended period, which is creating a significant safety vulnerability for our building. To add to this concern, I have noticed on multiple occasions that the security guard on duty has been asleep. As a resident, these combined issues leave me feeling quite unsafe in our community. Could you please let me know what steps are being taken to repair the gate and address the security guard's performance? Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter and for your hard work in keeping our building safe. So we can see immediately you'll get a better response from the president than fix the problem now. And again, in a moment of right, and it's something I learned from Mrs. Lorichin 20 odd years ago when I worked at Procom the first time, never respond to anything in writing when you're upset. Not even a text. Put it down, walk away, come back to it. Or nowadays, we can ask AI to help us to soften the tone. This is my favorite AI tool, Claude, and we asked him the same exact question. Just a reference, we see what Google Gemini gave us, and let's see what Claude will say. And it's thinking. And here it is. I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to raise some ongoing security concerns that I feel require prompt attention. The main gate has been out of service for quite some time now, and I'm also concerned about the alertness of our security guard on duty. Together, these issues leave residents feeling vulnerable, and I must admit I share that concern. I'd appreciate knowing what steps the Strata Council is taking to address both matters, and a realistic timeline for resolution would be very helpful. I'm confident we can work together to restore the sense of safety our community deserves. Thank you for your time and attention to this. I really like this reply from Claude because it just simply says ongoing security concerns, and also the alertness of a security guard on duty. This calling of security guards for sleeping on the job may get them fired, where Claude, and I think Claude knows me as a bit well as my tone as well, it softens it, but still does not dilute the urgency. Now, I've never used Copilot until today. And I'm going to do it because we're all learning and we can all improve. And I want to embrace other AI tools. So let's see what Microsoft Copilot says for the exact same prompt. And I think because I have on my, oh, and look at that. Hold on, I had to turn off my VPN. And it's just something when it just, and see, look at that. Technology, we're learning other tools today at the same time. So, and it's doing it again. If you do have a VPN on, this will oftentimes pop up on many websites that you're trying to use because it realizes that you're blocking your IP address. So this is now Microsoft Copilot with anybody who has Outlook or Microsoft Office. It's already built in. You don't have to go anywhere to use it. So here is the response it gave. I hope you're doing well. I'm writing to bring attention to two ongoing concerns that are affecting the residents' sense of safety. First, the main gate has been out of service for an extended period. As you know, this gate plays an important role in controlling access to the property, and its continued malfunction leaves the community feeling vulnerable. Additionally, I've noticed that the on-site security guard is frequently asleep while on duty. This understandably raises concerns about the reliability of our security measures. I'd appreciate an update on the steps taken to address both issues and any expected timelines for resolution. Ensuring that these matters are handled properly would go a long way toward restoring residents' confidence in our building security. Thank you for attention to this. I look forward to hearing from you. So you can pick whichever AI tool that matches your tone, or what sounds more like you. Again, go back here is Google Gemini's. It starts out having a good week and urgent. It always thinks about bring two urgent matters to your attention, and the tone. This one is a bit more urgent or in its approach. Claude really knows how to soften the blow. And again, I prefer this one because it doesn't throw a security guard under the bus, but it does highlight the fact that there's an issue there. And Microsoft Copilot is very corporate speak, very business-like. There is no emotion to this. And for those of you who want, again, if you're serving on a strata and you can either send memos or communicate with other members or members of the community, you may want to use Microsoft Copilot. Now, for demonstration 4, lifestyle and travel. Many people don't know that you can ask different AI tools to help you to plan outings, explore recipes, discover hobbies. It really over time adapts to your pace, your budget, and your interests. On the left here is an itinerary that I did for a friend's birthday in Aruba. Of course, as a travel writer, I had to double check everything there. Oftentimes, AI tools will miscalculate distance. So if you say, give me options for a tour in Jamaica, it may say leave Kingston at 9, arrive in Negril at 11:45, then have lunch in St. Anne's Bay. You're like, wait, what? So you really want to ensure that you give it more, you correct it as well. Don't just close the screen or say this is foolishness and move on. You have to correct it so it can actually learn from its mistakes. So the prompt I gave it was plan a relaxed day trip from Kingston, Jamaica to Portland, Jamaica, because of course, there are Portland's other places, for 4 seniors, one of whom has slight mobility issues. So here's the result that I received from ChatGPT. Depart Kingston at 9:30. It gave you the route and arrive at 11:15 a.m. Frenchman's Cove. That actually is a proper timeline for driving. Then you spend some time there, and you can see this is the part that it offers with shaded seating for anyone who prefers not to walk far. So if they don't want to go and swim, it just consider the fact that somebody in the group has slight mobility issues. Then it gives you a suggestion to prefer to have lunch. Then after lunch, it tells you to go to Aerofriend Marina with a gentle stroll around the marina, provides a lovely change of pace. And right there at the marina, you can have ice cream and coffee. It's important to have a nice sit down after a while. And of course, they leave at 4:30 to return to Kingston. And the reason why it did that is that it wanted us to get back to Kingston before dark. So it considered all aspects of the people in the group. So here is another prompt I'm going to ask. Claude, I have relatives visiting me in Jamaica from Washington, D.C. Please plan a 1 day, 1 night excursion to Negril that would showcase some of the best parts of the island. So let's see what Claude says. Oh, it's really thinking today. Uh, and this is why I like Claude. It really does deep thinking, even in the simplest model. And there are different models of Claude. But this is the free model I'm using. And it really still does a deep thinking. And the company that developed, and this is not a plug, they're not paying any of us. Anthropic is a little bit more ethical than some of the other companies. So now Claude gives you a map. Look at this. So it shows you again, it's interactive. So on how to drive, you can even open it, and I won't test that right now in case I lose the screen again. So it gives you a 6:30, that's a very early departure, Claude, but it gives you a 6:30 a.m. departure. It tells you to get to Montego at 9:30 for scotches. Um, I'm not quite sure what's expected to do until 12 o'clock. Let's scroll down and see. All right, so it tells us to arrive in Montego Bay at 9:30. It even suggests menu options from scotches, and even this caveat, it's not a tourist trap. This is where Jamaicans go. That's actually very good intuition from the AI tool. So this is all what Claude thinks already. And it suggests even driving through Mandeville, the Cooler Highlands. That's an interesting route I've never taken to get to Montego Bay. Um, and again, we can double check each of these, and it gives the phone numbers for scotches. Let's just check to see if this is true. And it's correct. All right, so we can now trust Claude a little bit more each day. Then it gives you go from 7 Mile Beach, check into Rock House, go to dinner at Rick's Cafe, and dinner at Pushcart Jerk Center, which is also at Rock House. Day two, it says it gives you a theme: morning, nature, and head east. So it gives you breakfast suggestions near 7 Mile Beach. Um, and again, it's highlighting excrement fish and Atkins saltfish. But again, they've given it that you have relatives visiting from DC. We didn't say that they were Jamaican, so then it's going off of the fact that maybe their first trip to Jamaica as well, right? It's giving on the places at Royal Palm Reserve and a hidden gem, which actually this is a hidden gem. Then it gives a departure back to Kingston. It gives you practical notes, book Rock House as early as possible, especially thick fillers. Rick's Cafe arriving close to 4:30 on a busy day is wise. And the dive itself, of course, it may not die. The drive itself, the descent from Mandeville is generally beautiful, worth calling out to your guests as you go. And this is a great tool that many people don't think AI can do, or they don't even actually ask it to give you games and opportunities for mental engagement to keep your mind sharp. You can ask AI to design quizzes or trivia, history tests, or just keep an open conversation if you want to learn a particular topic. So I'm going to jump to a blank screen for Claude, and you'll see right here where Claude has different built-in tools. So you can even click on Learn, and you can click and say design a lesson or curriculum or explain a concept in simple terms. You can ask it anything. What I asked it to do is to quiz me on Jamaican history, 10 questions at a time. So on the right-hand side here, this is a result from ChatGPT. And we're going to do a live demonstration on Claude to see what questions it gives. And here is the first question. Was the indigenous people who inhabited Jamaica and Christopher Columbus arrived in 1494? Now, Claude did not give any alphabet, multiple choice options. It's a little bit snooty that way, where ChatGPT is more of the people. So we're going to go and we're going to say, all right, the title. And it gave me, and even put the correct accent on the I. So you can ask it different things. You can ask the design easy, medium level difficulty, or hard for Sudoku, word jumbles. It can create crossword puzzles with particular themes. So they create a crossword puzzle using gardening tools as a clues or Caribbean dishes. You can really ask it anything and it can design it for you. Now, this is a very important aspect of using AI. You have to use it responsibly and safely. All right, this is not a warning. This is about making sure that the tool is doing what it's designed to do and not what some people pull it into doing nefariously. The first thing on privacy, you never have to never share personal details. Never upload your bank statement and ask it to give you a budget. You can upload your receipts from the supermarket, or you can type in manually light bill X, water bill X, and go through. But please don't upload, scan your passport, your driver's license, anything, or if you work in an office, do not upload proprietary information into it. There's a case in Canada where there were lawyers who asked one of the AI tools to create a defense, and it falsified a court case. And the judge said that case doesn't exist, and those lawyers were disbarred and are now being sued by the government. Right? So let's not do that whenever. Don't upload anything that is personal. The same technology can also fake a loved one's voice. So that's another aspect we were talking about deep fakes, is that there's some of the tools, and that's why I thoughtfully chose the tools that I suggested today. There are many other AI tools. I just won't call their names, that can continue to listen on your device once you give it access, and it can just start to become they call sentient over time, and just can start making calls and impersonate loved ones, or in the hands of hackers they can easily do that. So you want to ensure that if you get a call from a loved one asking for money, or that they're in an issue, or even a video call, the quickest thing is hold up 2 fingers, hold up 6 fingers, or what's today's date, because AI tends to get dates wrong. That's one of the easiest things to do. Or hold up today's newspaper. No AI tool will ever be able to get that. Verification, you want to confirm at any health suggestions or any financial suggestions that they offer, they are sound. In the same way, I simply copied Scotch's phone number given to me by Claude into Google. You want to verify everything. So if you ask Claude to tell you what is gabapentin good for, and it gives you answers. You want to, or if you're prescribed gabapentin, and you want to say, can I take gabapentin when I also am taking Panadine? Let's say that. You get an answer, but you want to confirm with your doctor first before you start playing doctor yourself. All right? And also for accuracy. As I said before, AI can be confidently wrong. It can be out of date. The other day, Claude told me that, it did something in 2024. And I'm like, it didn't exist in 2024. And I said, oh, my mistake. You're right. So even the app itself doesn't remember when it was invented. So you want to ensure that you double check when you ask it for serious or things that have consequences. You want to ensure that you have everything correct, that it is suggestion. It's a brilliant assistant. Think of AI as your own pocket personal assistant, but it's never a replacement for your own good judgment. Especially if you can start testing your AI and training your AI tools to know who you are. So you can even say to it, what's the best route from Beverly Hills to Helsham? And if it's giving you some roundabout way, you're like, no, that's wrong. You go this way. So you continue to have that open conversation with your AI tools to train it so it actually gives you better and more accurate responses when you do ask. So what we're going to do this week? Well, today's Thursday. What we can do tomorrow or next week. Open an AI tool. Remember, the free AI tools work right in your web browser. You don't need any special equipment. And again, the AI tools that I suggest are Claude, Google Gemini, and ChatGPT. You ask real questions. You can pick something from today's demonstrations, something about shopping, about gardening, and letter. Just ask it something, see what the results it gives, and continue to train it by getting deeper and more specific in your questions. And then the best way is to talk about it. Tell a friend, impress your grandchildren, or ask a fellow CCRP member what they are searching for. And you can even create groups if you do, let's say you do a subscribe to one of the AI tools, let's say Claude, you can create a group on Claude and you can actually then now play chess together. You can all do Scrabble as a group together. So, of course, the free version just allows you to do basic things. But if you do subscribe, it really can become a tool that becomes, your go-to, and you can keep in your pocket for when, any life's issues arise. So before we close and go to the Q&A, so far, I believe, in our the time that we spent together, you've gained some real world AI skills that you can use right away, right? I believe, I've given you some confidence of how to use AI safely and responsibly. You have some practical solutions for everyday questions, and you have new ways to stay engaged, informed, and independent. And if you are overwhelmed by the news cycle, you can simply say, GPT, give me the top 10 headlines about Donald Trump today. And it can summarize it for you without you having to listen to his grating voice, or to read 10 full articles. All right, so now you're able to live life to the fullest with a very capable assistant. And I'm now over to Angela to ask for a Q&A.
Repeat access. So perhaps if we just go back to that.
Sure. So I will actually open the browser here we are. I'll actually open the browser for you. So we're going to use Claude.ai. Well, it knows who I am, and that's why it says, we didn't just guess, it knows who I am. So then we have chatgpt.com.
Mr. Gray.
And here it is. And let me just show you why I said use the browser links directly. So if we just run to Google.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the typical person needs to know how to get there.
If we just Google that, these are not these are not from ChatGPT. These are fake bots, trying to get your money, but also to circumvent what the real ChatGPT is, which is down here. And another thing with Google search results, oftentimes the sponsored result, do not trust that. Scroll down to the non-sponsored one. And then the other one is Google Gemini. And again, it is gemini.google.com, or you can even just put Gemini into Google and it will give you itself. Notice there's no sponsored result on top. It gives you a proper, it gives its own product. It gives you a proper result.
Facility to back up there. Where's your
All right, the next question.
8. All right. And your name is Kevin.
Hi.
Okay. All right. 8.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes.
Yes, I wanted to,
and
I
in
think
another.
Irene's mic is open.
Okay.
Yes, okay, so
Hello.
wanted, so good afternoon,
Hello.
Vaughn. Thank you very much for this demonstration. I wanted to weigh in for the use of the AI tools, and I don't know if you could help me with this, but so that they do the correct settings, the privacy settings. I think that's a very good part of before you start using any AI tool, that you ensure that your data that you're inputting is not being used to train the model.
Well, I mean, thank you
Not
for that.
hearing at all. Not hearing.
And who just asked the question? Corrine? Corrine, thank you for that, Corrine. Now there are, of course, for me, I have in my settings, and I will share my settings and show everybody what my settings look like. You will see in my Claude, I have a paid plan with Claude, and with my settings and my privacy here, you can tell how, as you rightly said, how we use your data, right? Now, I have allowed it to keep my location, so it gives me location-specific results, and I have allowed it to help improve the model. If you don't want to do that whatsoever, you are empowered to turn it off, right? So you are correct in if you just want it to just help you do basic tasks like create mind sharpening games, or if you just want to write a simple letter or emails or do grocery shopping, by all means, Corinne, you're correct. We can turn it off to not train the model.
Yes, that's my recommendation, because you don't want to necessarily give it access to your data to help to train the model, and you still get good results if you don't allow it to use your data. Because I've been using these AI tools from 2022 and I use them daily, so I understand. And the best practice is that you don't necessarily give it carte blanche access to your data that you're inputting there.
And that is very true. And thank you for that input.
All right. Mrs. Walter?
Yes. Regretfully, I was 10 minutes late in checking on, so I want to know if the session has been recorded so that I could look at it at some other time.
Yes, it is being recorded.
Yes.
And we'll advise you where and how to access it.
Yes, thank you.
I tried to answer it, but just so that everybody can see and hear. In planning the trip to Negril for relatives from DC, the map of Jamaica showed the route going north from Kingston, then west to Negril. However, the additional information at the end of the itinerary mentioned Mandeville. Please clarify why Mandeville was mentioned.
Am I still sharing my screen? Yes. All right, I think Mandeville was mentioned again. We just gave it option. I think it was giving about the scenic tour of, because they're visiting from overseas, and what the best part of Jamaica for them to see. So it says it right here at the end that I'm not about the drive itself, that if you descend through Mandeville into western parishes, it's generally beautiful. That's just one option. So let's just say right now, let's not drive through Mandeville. And we can see the results of the event. And thank you again for that, for the questions. Easy adjustment. The faster route is straight up the north coast via Ocho Rios. You can go to the south coast through May Pen and Lacovia. That's an interesting route as well. I don't know about that route. Again, AI isn't perfect, but it gives you via Ocho Rios. So we can say repopulate with Ocho Rios. It is giving you option again. Again, we're telling it what we want, what we would prefer. It's giving suggestions, and again, it doesn't know everything perfectly about
Right.
our island, and that's why I have on my geolocation, so it can give me better results. So it's a sort of places as we, and I will bring those up in a second. We do have 12 minutes. I'm not too worried. I like that question so we can all see AI working in real time. So here it is. It is giving us a new itinerary. So we depart Kingston, we get to Dun River, we go to Ocho Jerk Center. Then in the afternoon, so you can see the route here, we're doing a route that most of us know along the north coast, with 7 Mile Beach North, and everything else remains the same. And then coming home, it gives us the same thing coming back to Kingston from the north coast through the highway back to Kingston.
Mr. Gray, on that same question,
Sure.
can I make a comment?
Sure.
Yes, that's coming to
Yes.
you.
No, just because it's on the same thing. And then, yeah. So I don't know if I didn't see it on the map before on that particular Negril trip. The previous map, I didn't see that it showed the trip through Mandeville.
Yes.
So as a note, I think they made it just as a note to everybody here. It can make mistakes. So it
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I
I didn't say it was
No, but
perfect.
it's not a mistake.
No, it's just a minor thing, and I'm just pointing out to everybody that it
Yeah.
makes mistakes. So it actually showed a route, and that route was the North Coast route. And if it was really smart, it would say, "Oh, there are 2 ways to go. You can go one time on the North Coast and come back on the South Coast, or vice versa." So if you really want a scenic route, you would do it both ways. It would take longer, but one time you go to the South Coast, and one time you go to the North Coast, and so you get to see more of Jamaica. Just saying all of that to say that at the end of it, all these AI tools are only so smart and no more. But
And
I
of
had
course,
yeah.
and that's why I'm saying that, you want, again, if you don't, as the slide said, if you're not getting the result that you think is correct, you push back.
Right.
So again, it's never take the, and also even in my use of it, I never take the first response that it gives me.
Definitely.
You go back and have that conversation with it. And again, one prompt, again, think about how if you ask me, Vaughn, what's the best restaurant in Kingston? I'm going to ask you 20 questions before I give you a recommendation. First of it, what are you celebrating? Is it a regular night out? You want something quick? What type of food do you like? Allergies? What's your price point? I would offer them for give a recommendation. And that's the same thing you want to carry into engaging with any of these AI tools, right? Be more specific as you go along, as you use it, so that you can get the results that are sound, incorporating solutions that you might not have thought of before. Like for in this like using breakfast at Cuyaba or the Royal Palm Reserve, you can double check, and as you say to use 2 different routes, one to go, one to come back, and it will populate and give you those options.
One more thing, Mr. Gray. I think your instructions today have been really good.
Oh, thank you.
My comment is some person before made a suggestion that people be aware of the possibility of not of hiding their information from training. I don't know if you have the time today to show that to the group.
Well,
But I think
I will show you again.
if you have time to show that, that would probably be helpful to the people who are here.
We have two hands up. St. Andrew West, JPE, could you please ask your question?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. It's just a comment on the route that was outlined for the visit to Negril. The truth is, one is a North Coast route and one is a South Coast route. If you're going Mappin, Mandeville, Lacovia, into Savlamar and onto Negril, or if you're going North Coast via Montego Bay, Ocho and so on. So I don't know that there is any discrepancy on the part of the chat that is recommending the route. It's just showing you that there are 2 alternative routes that you can go through.
Thank you for that. All right. Somebody in the chat is making the point that we asked in our request, we asked for the critical words were scenic and best route. So it responded based on the prompt. Yes, thank you for that. We also have the question. Yes, we had somebody answer that. Somebody answered.
No.
Oh,
Explain, please.
yes.
Sure.
Here we are. How do you upload images and emails on Claude?
All right. Well, let's be clear. Uploading your emails, you're going to copy and paste an email. So let's say you've written something in Google, in Gmail, or whatever, or Hotmail, Yahoo, whatever you use. We're going to open up Claude, and I'm going to copy and paste, for example, from what we've done before. So I'm going to go back up here and just do the same thing. Like, this is the email that we wrote. We're going to open up our tool. We're going to paste it in there. All right. Let's just put regards. And then and that's how it gives you a new email. So you're just going to copy. And if we don't know the copy, we're just going to highlight what we've written, drag it, and you're going to then right click on it. Or in these tools, it just sometimes gives you a copy. Right? So when you see two rectangles overlapping, that's a copy button. Right? And then you can just copy straight from that and put it into whichever chat. And now Claude is giving us more options because it realized we weren't happy with the options before. So you see firm, more professional, and more collaborative. So again, the more you use it, the more you're getting options, and the more it starts to understand who you are and how you speak and how you write.
Another question in the chat is saying, how does it access one's data?
All right. So each time you use any of these AI tools, that is you giving it data for it to use. So also, if you're using it on your phones have privacy settings. All of mine are turned off. So my smartphone is really just for WhatsApp and phone calls and occasional Instagram scroll. But everything on my phone for privacy settings is turned off. On my work laptop, however, I have certain things turned on, and I'll go through again. If we go into Claude, if you sign up, you go into your settings right here, and then you go into privacy. Right? Once again, it tells you how we protect data, how we use your data, and here are your preferences. I don't want to turn mine off, right? Because I'm using it to train the system, but you don't have to do that. Now you can export your data. You have your chats that you can manage. So if you delete every chat, that deletes. So they say, but nothing is fully deleted. We know that. It's deleted and it won't remember. It lives on a server somewhere and it lives in the cloud somewhere. So that's why I said never give it your personal information, because even if I go into previous chats with Claude here, I can delete from those chats that I want to have it deleted, and then that deletes it from memory, from how you use Claude, which again knows the memory from your IP address and from your login. If you sign up, your login information, it keeps store of each conversation that you use, so it can reference it. So you don't always have to ask it, or you don't have to think and create something new each time.
Something. I'll just use your speaker.
Sure.
And that I just wanted to mention that when you hire people, it is always good to have an employment letter. So you know when you hire the person, if it's a household worker or a janitor or a gardener, and what you agree to, what employment fees are, etc. And that is something that Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini can draft for you. You just give them the notes and they can draft it for you. But a lot of times, we're in a hurry. We don't record these things and then you have no record of what was agreed, what date it was agreed on. Also, if you are getting a tenant to rent a part of your house, you can ask Claude to create a lease for you. So those are very useful aspects of ChatGPT.
And as Mr. Shin just said, you can ask it to create these documents within the confines or ensure that they're legally bound under Jamaican law, right? So it can be very clear. And again, the more details you give it, the better results that it's going to populate.
The prompt is the response that you get.
True.
You have to train on how to write the prompts. Just notes. It's how you write what you want to know.
And I love that question. Again, you don't need any training. It's again, think of it again as a conversation. And as we have on the screen here, no question is too basic, right? And that same thing as in a Q&A, the same thing with engaging with AI. Just ask it what you want to ask it. Right now, the World Cup is going on. If you don't know how football works, simply ask it, give me an overview of how a football match runs, right? Or how do you rank a team in FIFA? Ask it anything. And the more you engage with it, again, the more it starts to learn how you communicate and your style, right? How I speak, I've had to train Claude for the better part of 4.5 months for it to get an email tone correct. For that sounds like me.
Yes.
Right? So you don't take, again, if you're doing it in high stakes situations, again, anything that's legally binding, you're sending an email, you want to make sure the email has the right tone, you want to ensure that you continually feed it. So even if it's just, scenarios, you feed it scenarios and ask it things so it can get better over time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're at 3:30, so thank you very much, everyone, for your time today. And again, we're learning to live life to the fullest. And AI is one of those tools that we can use to help us achieve that. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much, Vaughn. I see the applause coming up on the screen. I need to turn on my volume. Can you turn off yours? Okay, so I see the applause coming up on the screen. And I think we all, look at that burst of applause. I think we all can now go and experiment and ensure that we make the maximum out of AI. So thank you all. And remember, you can always email us with any additional questions, and we will let you know when the recording is available on our YouTube channel. So thank you and have a very good evening. Bye now. Yes.
And that one page that he said he had. One